Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy. I'm so sorry that you had this experience, and it is all too common. Being dismissed in the medical field, especially if you're a woman, especially if you're somebody who has POTS or chronic illness or dysautonomia, doctors so typically jump to you're just anxious, and they do not look at the other symptoms. And I had an experience with a general practitioner where I was left crying in his office. And this is somebody who had been my GP for years, and I had seen him once before because I had said something is wrong, something on a physical level is wrong, and he had dismissed me. And I went back with my mom, and even in that session, he basically wielded all of my life factors against me. Now, at the time, I was in grad school, my dad was sick, and I was just unwell. But he could not take time to hear me out on the physical symptoms. He literally just took all of the life factors, all of the stressors, and said, you're just going through a lot. And as I tried to explain to him, I was like, I've been through grad school before. I did a master's when I worked full time, and that didn't burn me out like this. I love my classes. It's very easy. It's very manageable. I'm telling you that there is something wrong on a physical level, and he refused to hear me. I explained to him that physically I couldn't sit near vibrations, vacuums, anything with a hum. It would do something to my nervous system that would cause me to shake uncontrollably and need to leave the situation, or I would have what I would now know to be a POTS episode. But because I didn't have any idea what was going on, and I had no idea what a POTS diagnosis was, I went to him trying to gain clarity, and all I got was being dismissed that I was an anxious woman who was potentially making all of this up. And I remember crying so hard in that meeting because I was just trying to advocate for myself. And even with my mom there, even with both of us saying this is not normal, this is not who she is. This is not how she shows up in the world. And being told you're just stressed was so disheartening and so frustrating. And the thing that came out of that was my intense need to show him that he was wrong. Now, I'm not saying that this is right. It just kicked up something in me where I was like, I'm going to prove to you that you are incorrect and that you have misdiagnosed me. And that is where I started looking into different ways to heal. And when I went to physical therapy the first time and they said okay, put your arm out in a nerve glide, and I literally could not extend past here, it was validating and upsetting because on one hand, I was like, this is not normal. I should be able to do this. And if I'm getting symptoms of numbness and tingling and my eyesight is blacking out, there's obviously something there on a physical level. So in that case, it was relieving. But on the other side of it, it was so upsetting because had that doctor taken the time to not look at me and go, you are just an anxious woman, had he actually listened to what I said, had he actually considered that there was something else going on, I probably would have gotten a POTS diagnosis a hell of a lot sooner than when I saw him. And you guys can hear the anger in my voice because I am still so frustrated by this conversation, and it was years ago. I would have gotten, likely, if he had taken me seriously, I probably would have gotten to see somebody who at least considered the possibility of POTS nearly a year sooner than when I did. And the only reason that I even had POTS in consideration was because I went to a female doctor at Weill Cornell in the integrative health system who told me that this is what I needed to consider. And without her, there is no way that I would have gotten diagnosed.